says she loves me. Isn't it lovely when the one you lost thing is the one you're loving?
So in the wake of the UAW strike, which I absolutely support, especially because it seems as if the CEOs are tone deaf. You don't have a damn auto company without the people working there. You do realize that, right? The CEOs can't put a widget on or a sprocket or whatever the hell the technology is now, the computers they're going, they can't do any of the work. So why do you get all of the money? Some of this got to make sense. 866-801-8255. So let's play the clip from Mr. Gurner. Let me just tell you who he is, because this clip went viral. Now he's Australian. He's a billionaire, or from what I've been reading, he's made I think last year $577 million. Not quite $1 billion, but his company is $1 billion company. He's a real estate mogul. And he was on at a conference, right? So it wasn't a private conversation that was being had with this gentleman. And, he was talking about the current workplace and how workers feel entitled, right? Tim Gurner is his name. He's a CEO. And he was talking about capitalism as it relates to Australia, but also globally, right? So during the pandemic, a lot of us got to sit home and work. And you know what they found when we sat home and worked? That, first of all, many of us, stress levels went down. Now, some of us like to be around people in the office, around the thing, whatever. But for the most of us, it was okay to be at home, to work remotely. I know I saved on gas. My Easy Pass bill went from $300 and something a month down to like $10 a month because, locally. The meals that I was spending every day, eating lunch and then sometimes dinner, sometimes breakfast and lunch, went down exponentially. The need to be on, to worry about my hair, to worry about my clothing, the money spent on clothes. I was wearing office mullets every single day on Zoom as I am now, party. What is it? Party on the top, business on the top, party on the bottom, have my pajamas and flip flops on as I do right now. Pajamas and flip flops. But more importantly, the office politics that for many of us actually impedes our ability to work at the highest level. The 5011 office meetings, all of the BS and the nonsense and the microaggressions that we have to navigate in the office place went to basically none. And you know what happened? And this is verifiable. So please look it up because I don't want to be wrong about anything on these airwaves. Productivity went up. Now, why is there a push then to go back into the office? Well, because a lot of these companies spend a lot of money on rent and they need to do that. Plus a lot of government and businesses were suffering because people weren't there buying the lunches and patroning the surrounding businesses of the businesses that, the major corporations, right? So there's a conspiracy between the mayors and the business people, because business folk get deals for being in these spaces. They get tax breaks and all. So there's a lot of government CEO business stuff going on that ain't got really nothing to do with us because we're producing. The work is being done. So there's layers to this. The audacity of this guy, Mr. Gurner. I want you to hear it because there's going to be a theme throughout this show. The same attitude and how it shows up. And I want you to think about how it shows up for you. Let's play his clip.
I think the problem that we've had is that we have people decided they didn't really want to work so much anymore through COVID, and that has had a massive issue on productivity. Tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. They have been paid a lot to do not too much in the last few years, and we need to see that change. We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40-50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. I mean, there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. So it's a dynamic that has to change. We've got to kill that attitude, and that has to come through hurting the economy, which is what the whole global, the world is trying to do. The governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment to get that to some sort of normality. And we're seeing it. I think every employer now is seeing it. I mean, there is definitely massive layoffs going off. People might not be talking about it, but people are definitely laying people off, and we're starting to see less arrogance in the employment market, and that has to continue because that will cascade across the cost balance.
Wow. less arrogance. How arrogant is it to sit and publicly say you are manufacturing unemployment and that you have to make people, what do you say, feel the pain? We have to kill the attitude that somehow the worker is more valuable than the CEO or than the company itself. And we have to drive unemployment up so that we can make people grateful, basically, is what he's saying, to have a job. So it's manufactured. Even as we talk about unemployment, I just told you there are 1 million plus jobs unmanned in tech. For sure, more than that, there are 1 million plus jobs unmanned in these jobs that so-called the immigrants who come here are doing, because there's actually more folk leaving the country than coming in, even though the images that the media will show you is that, you know, they're coming in massively. They're not talking about the great exodus. And why are there so many jobs unmanned in these areas that supposedly these folk are taking our jobs, right? But now we see there's something more nefarious going on. And he said this at a conference out loud, out of his mouth. We got to remind people, basically, who's in charge. I said, whoa, wait a minute. Because I am super understanding that when this mic goes on is a result of so many hands and brains and people's ingenuity, not just the tech, but my team that'll allow me to be able to seamlessly come on these airways for 3 hours. Yeah, I'm not disrespecting not a single board op who can literally hit a button and take me off the air. Oh, no, not a single producer, not a single editor. No, because we work together to make greatness. And the notion that somehow I'm going to make you feel the pain. And we've seen people like Apple and Microsoft. Apple has more cash than most nations, but they laid folk off. We're looking at right now a strike with the actors and the writers when the studio heads who can't film a damn film, act in a film, they can't write, they can't do any of the things to produce the thing that actually is making them all of this money. They have the audacity, they're going to break the backs of these writers and these actors because they have the audacity to ask for more when most of them made over $300 million last year. To do what? Make a decision, have a meeting? They don't work the way you work. They can't do what you do. And they can't produce the movies. Literally. I'm not talking about bankrolling. So we're in a really interesting place right now. And I'm excited at the same time, nervous, because what I'm seeing are manufactured conflicts. And now this man just said out of his mouth, we have to increase unemployment to 50%. What would that look like? And who would that harm? Mostly people listening right now. And hello to you. 866-801-8255. So we have to be vigilant and talk about these things. Otherwise, what they're going to do is keep us fighting with each other.
I run my fingers through her hair as she smiles and says that she loves me. Isn't it lovely when the one you love is the one